York Plasterers-update December price hike, daily rate for plasterer. The effects of rising costs are also having a big effect on plastering, and the daily rate for plasterers is increasing. Now we know that many after the holiday period turn their attention to having work carried out in their home, whether it's reskimming ceilings or painting a room, to extensions. It's a fact that any work is now becoming more costly. Typically, most building project costs have risen anywhere up to 25% or more. It's the same with plastering in York or anywhere in the country. The costs are rising, mainly due to raw material increases and a real shortage of plasterers. I should say good plasterers. The other cost impact, of course, is the general cost of living. We see all the industries wanting wage increases, and York plasterers are no different. Fuel increase to get to the job and labour costs, as in for labourers to mix the plaster. So how do you save on cost when it comes to plastering? So the typical daily rate now for plasterers, whether plastering, skimming and rendering your home inside and out, yes, it adds value. Skimming old Artex ceilings increases a home's value. In fact, old Artex tends to devalue your home. In the UK, a plasterer's hourly rate equates to approximately now £35 as an average. However, it can range from £20 to £70. Plasterers normally price jobs, though, based on room sizes and access, not particularly on time. When the project is small, such as plastering a water-damaged ceiling or wall, an hourly rate charge may be quoted, but most still want to price on a job rate. So budget for decorating afterwards also, and decorators' costs have also increased. Per day plasterer cost. Plasterer's day rate will help you estimate their cost for the job. If the typical day rate for a plasterer in the UK is, say, £170, £170, this is a low average, I will say. You may expect to pay £300 to £400 to plaster a room, obviously depending on the size. A skilled plasterer works quickly and produces level, smooth surfaces, so they quote by area rather than time spent in your home in a lot of cases. Now, obviously, London and the southeast charge extra, anywhere from 120 to 500 per day. In saying this, in parts of Yorkshire, costs will be more in affluent areas and less in the not so areas. This applies to most services, broadly speaking, though in areas where costs are higher, it very much does go on the cost of the area itself. When picking a plasterer, they say get a few quotes to compare prices. However, price cannot be the only consideration if you want a good job doing. Now, to avoid disagreements over payment and job expectation at the end of the project, you can get a written quote. Many will not give one generally, but rely on verbal, which is fine if you want to work that way, but common sense says that something in writing is best. Anything written down is legally binding if any problems do occur. Notice if VAT has been included in the quote, and if you can't see it, inquire if the plaster is VAT registered. Many self-employed plasterers aren't, it's actual fact. Most plasterers expect payment when the job is done, and this is reasonable. Depending on the size of your project, they may require some stage payments if a job is going to last weeks or months even. Supply or labour only plasterers. Discuss whether a quote includes supplies or what you must buy. If the quotation includes supplies, ask if it will be cheaper for you to obtain them yourself. With prices rising on plaster products, sometimes many customers now prefer to pay for labour only and get materials themselves. The reality is plasterers generally don't make money on the materials costs, though. It's not like plumbers who can make a lot of money on plumbing materials, especially like boilers and things like this. Okay, so choosing your York plasterer, ask if the plasterer can refer you to previous clients for references and follow up to find out if they were happy with the plasterer and if the plasterer has insurance liability. Plastering is a skilled job, so you could ask to see any qualifications if they are a new company especially. Now you need to check for additional costs. Discuss whether scaffolding is included in the price if the plasterer will be rendering your exterior walls. Will they outsource and arrange scaffolding, or do you need to get it first? If all plaster has been removed, will skip hire be needed? Check if this is added to the invoice and who is responsible for arranging the skip before work begins. If no skip is needed, but there will be a few large bags of rubble, ask if they will remove them from your home when they're finished. If you reside in an area that charges for parking or vehicle access, make sure you agree if these are included in the costs. Okay, so York Plasterers' daily rate for plasterer, it's really, to conclude, it's really a lot of common sense that needs to be applied. I know we'll add fairness. As York Plasterers, we only want to leave a good impression. And at A&B Plastering York, we feel we try our best for this. As we say, we can do a bad job once, but a good job over and over again. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and good luck with your next building or plastering project, and bye for now from A&B Plastering.